Hello and welcome. We're in for an exciting week because it's finally five-star week here at the Winter Equestrian Festival. The first of the five-star competitions for the season, the Fidelity class that takes place on Saturday night. We're going to be preluding that. We're going to take a little run into what to expect from what is an all-star lineup here in Wellington this year. And we give a little review of what, again, was another starry finish to the classes on the grass last week as part of the Maher Equestrian Week 2. An exciting week to finish off, an exciting week to get into. It's all here on WEF Weekly. Well, looking forward to what is going to be an exciting week ahead of us here as we get into five-star competition. Delighted to have support at the Winter Equestrian Festival from Fidelity. Fidelity Investments, helping clients grow, preserve and manage their wealth. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Fidelity Brokerage Services LLC. And to our many supporters, including Dodd Technologies, that bring us our live streaming each week, your partner in engineering extraordinary experiences since 1983, and discover how they elevate sports, entertainment and corporate events at doddtechnologies.com. And also from the USEF, our supporting sponsor of our live stream as well, in part with support of the US Equestrian Federation and the USEF network, where you can watch all of our big competitions tied in with them as well. Thank you to everyone that's been behind our competitions here, and we are set for an exciting WEF Weekly because we're wrapping up what happened on the field last night. Yes, we were out of the Derby field. The hunters were in action as well, and it was the Maher Equestrian Week that came to an exciting conclusion out on the grass. And of course, it was the Great Charity Challenge as well. Over $2 million was raised on Saturday night, taking the total to, I think, what, 24 million that's been raised through the history of this event now as well. So let's give you a little look at what was on the agenda last week as part of the Maher Equestrian Week. Well, it was also the hunters on the table, and the Hunter Derby as the week progressed. $25,000 class saw Emily Williamson taking the top prize there, and of course we're building more and more towards our big World Championship Hunter Week as well. And in the groove too were the under 25 riders as part of the Brain Juice series, and it was team event for them. It was basically Nations Cup format as they went into action, and it came down to a jump off after 19 teams competed in round one, 6 teams in round two. We still had a tie for the teams after that. They picked a rider each. Nina Malavey going for her team up against Ansgar Holchers Jr., who actually was the winning rider in the end as the two went head-to-head for their teams. They were also coached and captained by some stars as well in Helena Stormans and Nick Skelton, who were on the sidelines helping our U25s out last week as well. But exciting finish for Ansgar Holchers Jr. and Chaploon, who bring home the win there. And also out on the field, it's exciting stuff in the Hermes 150 Classic for Ben Maher. Winner there with Corlanda, a fabulous 9-year-old that we're going to hear about more in a few moments' time as well. And for him, it was bringing home big class as part of the Maher Equestrian Week. Of course, he's several times been winner of the Grand Prix on the field as well. And for our top 3 into the Grand Prix there, the Maher Equestrian Grand Prix, going in reverse order, it was 3rd place for Ireland's Niamh McAvoy. And with a super ride on Jargon for the young Irish rider, was just pipped by another Irish rider in Shane Sweetnam and his Olympic ride in James Can Cruz, back into action and ready for the 5 stars this week, finishing in 2nd place. But the man who was doubling up on wins was Richard Vogel of Germany. Winner 2 weeks ago out on the field with Saidello. He matched that up with a 2nd win as he brought home another success over there on the Derby field as well for the world number 9. So a super week for that group, and I'm delighted to say joining me in the studio is an all-star golden lineup here as well, and delighted to say joining us, Darragh Kenny, winner of last year's Fidelity Grand Prix. Darragh, looking forward to this one once again? Yeah,
it's always a good week, a big week to get going here, so it's always fun.
Ben Maher added yet another gold medal since we've talked to you last in Paris last year. Congratulations. Excited coming back here again?
It's nice to be back, spend some time, quality time with the horses, less travelling and great weather.
And Guilherme Jorge, a man that many will know the name but don't always see your face because you're the man behind the courses for so many of our big competitions, including the Rolex Grand Prix. You built the courses at the Rio Olympics and you were technical delegate for Paris as well. We're going to explain what that means in a few minutes' time. But Guy, delighted to see you.
Happy to be here still.
It's pressure weeks coming up for the course designers now as well.
Yes, I mean the level of competition is very, very high here. We have the best horses and riders, and they all try to get it best form possible, and we have to deal with it.
Excellent. Looking forward to the challenges that we face for that. Darragh, you rose to the challenge last year for the Fidelity Grand Prix with Amsterdam on that occasion. We're going to take a little look at some of that from last year as well. But I was talking to you a little earlier today. Amsterdam just going to come back quietly this season and see how he feels.
Yeah, he was obviously brilliant last year. He had a great win in this Grand Prix. It was actually the first 5-star Grand Prix we had won together. And the first 5-star Grand Prix he had won, even though he's been such an amazing horse for so many people. But he had a little injury in the middle of the summer last year, something very small, but we've really just taken our time with it and we're building him back up, and hopefully he'll be back for the end of circuit.
And Darragh, it's been a strong start already into the season for you here in Wellington, horses like 0K. Let's talk a few of those. You've had good finishes in the NetJets Grand Prix from that point of view. You've already got some wins under your belt. How is it already feeling running into this year?
Yeah, I actually feel very good because for starting pretty slowly, I've had some very good results. 0K is a very new horse to me. She looks like she's going to be very, very good. And then Chacosini is also another new horse. He won a 150 already. So I've had, a few nice results starting out, even though I'm a little bit patient with some of the older horses because they did a lot at the end of December. So I'm starting slow yet.
So from that point of view, as you say, Chacosini that's in there as well. They're two horses that have been with a client of yours before now and now with you.
Yeah, they were with Andre Oplatek. He rode them all last year. They had very good results. Martin Fuchs rode them a little bit, and then we agreed for the horses to come here for me to ride. I think they're both very good horses, both very interesting horses. 0K will jump this week, the 5-star. It'll be her first 5-star with me, so I'm really quite interested to see how she handles it.
And you're going to keep a few of the classics back for later in the season?
Yeah, well, we'll see, they all feel in good form, but I wanted to take my time this winter, Chick Chick, Amsterdam, Eddie Blue, those horses I want to build up and hopefully have ready for the end of the season.
And you obviously finished last year well. You won the World Cup qualifier in London. Who was second?
Yeah, I'm still not sure he's forgiven me over that.
I'm sure he has. It was a great way to finish off the season from that point of view.
It was unbelievable. That horse has become a really top horse for me, and to win in Olympia was fantastic. Obviously, anytime you get to beat Ben is amazing because he's so talented and so good. But I was very happy with how it ended and how the year ended and how all the horses coped with last year and how they feel going into this year.
Ben, for your point of view, another amazing year last year, and now third Olympic gold medal from that point of view. Dallas Vegas Batty competing here, Tilly's here. Which is great. It's nice to see so many Olympic horses are here. We've got Checker, we've got King Edward, we've got a whole list.
It's strong here. They're raising the prize money here this year. I don't think that's the main reason why you have all the horses, but I think that due to different owners, different sponsors, and more and more better horse rider combinations are being drawn this side of the water, so there's probably a negative for us. We've been coming for many years now, and it was never been easy to win here, but it's only getting more difficult, and there's no escaping and sneaking off and getting an easy class anywhere over here.
No, absolutely. But at least the good thing is, I suppose, you're match fit when you hit the season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we have all the horses here, like Darragh. It is a long season. Try to be a little bit careful how fast we go out of the blocks in January and February, but I'm very lucky personally. I have a very, very strong team of horses and older horses, so it enables me to rotate a little bit and take the horses for the right courses, as they say.
We've got a few of your successes from last year as well, and already it started well into this year as well, as I say, with that win with Corlander as well. But for you, I mean, this is, as you say, been home for you for, I've lost count of how many years now, for the winter anyway.
Yes, I started here many years ago when I was low on the rankings, trying to get into international competitions, and then it grew on from there. I started riding for Jane Clark, and many great memories, and still riding horses. Ginger Blue last week for her, and we have a nice 9-year-old that's coming through in the next few weeks. And then that went on to me bringing all of my team of horses here, so it's been a sort of a 15-year stretch now. And I've had some great memories here in this ring.
And that, a little from last year as well, when Nations Cup Grand Prix with Point Break, Bodie, as he's known, which he finished superbly for you at the end of last year in Europe. He's going to be over in Europe for upcoming some of the big Dutch Masters, etc.
Yes, that was his first big win of his career, and he really came through the end of last year with some great results, and has finished up second to Darragh there in London. So he will not be here this year due to sort of stallion restrictions, and he needed a little bit of a rest as well. So we have a slightly different program for him, but that means that the other horses that are here will have to sort of pull their weight.
Your stable is not empty from what I'm looking.
No.
How many horses have you got here?
I have 9 or 10 horses, but as I said, they're all Corlander being one of the younger ones. Last week on the grass, he was great. So it's a great place here to develop my 1 8-year-old and 2 9-year-old horses, and try to be successful and have some fun in the bigger competitions with what these guys build for us. So it's a two-part process this time of year.
On due second in the NetJets Grand Prix the other day, and as you say, Corlander, from that we saw a little of that success on the MS class the other day. Did that really suit Corlander from that point of view, out on the field?
He's a huge striding stallion. Had him just over a year now, and some of those horses really had took a back seat for the last 3 or 4 months with the indoor season. So it's taken a little bit of time to get going, and he was a bit green the first day in the ring over there. But the jump off, I decided to use we're normally trying to maintain and control the size of his stride, but it was actually I thought it would do him good. We opened that up again to see where he was, and he found that very comfortable. So as Darragh said, it's nice to get a couple of good results under your belt to start the year. It gives the whole team behind the scenes that work very hard, and owners, gives everybody confidence and a good boost to start off.
As I say, good start as well with it. Second in the NetJets, builds nicely into the 5-star week. And you were behind resuming the battle with Checker and Christian Kukuk from that point of view. So that was a pretty good start.
Yeah, it's hard to beat Christian and Checker under the lights there that week. And Ju, he can be a fast horse, but he just naturally has a slower pace than what Checker did. I thought I rode the right jump off without taking too much risk. This was actually the year before, I think.
Yes, going back to Southern Arches Grand Prix.
Yeah, I remember the courses. But he jumped fantastic. I could have taken a lot more risk in the NetJets Grand Prix, but you can see he has a little bit of lofty kind of jump, although he has a big stride for a smaller horse. And for such an experienced horse in Checker, I was struggling to keep up with him on that night.
Excellent. Well, we're going into 5-star week. Guy, from your point of view, phenomenal lineup of horses and riders that we've got this season. You're going to be designing the Rolex Grand Prix later in the year. Gregory Bodo, our course designer this week, one of the 2 course designers for the Olympics alongside Santi Varela. You were technical delegate. What does that quite mean?
So the technical delegate, he has to supervise the whole operation. It's basically the person that if everything goes well, it's the merit of the rest of the team, but if something goes wrong, it's my fault. But I think we oversee everything from stabling to footing to the courses and the competition itself. But as we normally do at the Olympic Games, we had a fantastic team in Paris from all aspects that we could look, and that was the same for the course designing team.
Does it change your mindset when you see the strength of riders that we've got here? Do you go, great, we've got some serious?
It's always good to have the best horses and riders to work with. It's a different type of challenge. You know you're dealing with the best, yet you also want to be very fair to the horses, not ask too much, and it takes a lot of thinking, especially during the 12 weeks. We have 4 or 5 star competition that you, like this guy said, they rotate their horses, but they are all top quality horses, and it's an interesting process to come with courses that have not been used before.
Yeah.
So doing the last week, it's good because I see how they're jumping, but also I don't want to repeat what's been done already.
And you've built the Rolex Grand Prix for the last few years here as
Yep.
well. So you're building the ultimate, if you like, the conclusion to the season.
no,
So you're going to watch how it all goes.
Yeah, it's very interesting. This is the 11th year that I'm going to design the final year, not in a row, but it's since 2017. It's been I've been doing the last Grand Prix, and it's always interesting. And sometimes, like I have already half the course design or a good idea for the course, and then the previous course designer come and put kind of the same line from the water jump, and I have to start again. But it's part of the.
Do you want to tell us what's in the course now?
Not yet. I didn't start yet with everything. We'll save it.
We won't tell anyone. Don't
No.
worry. These guys will stay quiet. It's no problem at all. But you're going to be working. Gregory Bodo here this week. Makes a return here to Wellington. I'm sure he's excited about it. He's got an Olympics behind him since then as well.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you get the job to do the Olympics, you start getting more in different shows, and then you do the main event, you do the Olympics, and then it slows down a little bit, but you still get to go back to some of the shows, and that's the case with Greg.
You're the hot property for a little while. And
Yeah,
then
a little
you've
bit.
remained.
But
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
You guys getting back into the 5 stars now, as you mentioned in there, we're going to have increased prize money through $385,000 this week with the Fidelity Grand Prix, then the 2 Grand Prix after that, the Bainbridge and Lugano, $500,000. Rolex in association with the US Open Series as well, $750,000. Darragh, for a start, that helps things along and makes things even more exciting.
It definitely does. It's great for the sport here. It builds the hype up a little bit. Builds all the riders up. They get even more motivated, and it builds the competition up and the dramatics of the sport. So I think it's brilliant that WEF have done that and given more prize money. And I think the standard here is as high as you'll get anywhere in the world. And so I think it'll leave, as normally is, the Rolex Grand Prix being a very, very exciting Grand Prix.
Ben, from your point of view, do you work backwards, or do you see how the season goes in terms of horses aiming towards the Grand Prix coming later?
I do normally work backwards, but this time of year I'm playing with some ideas and changing some things, trying to improve always even on these older horses. So I have a sort of a plan A, but it's very lightly penciled right now. It's kind of solid for the next 3 to 4 weeks, and then we'll look to see where we're at.
And see where we go, and then you'll see them in action, and then you'll make your
We'll
decisions.
see the 4 weeks,
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of the horses and the riders we've got here. Not only, of course, Ben, we've talked about yours, Anjou, Dallas, Vegas with Tilly, etc. Those, I'm guessing, are the 2 that you'll really go for the big things with?
Yes, they'll be here the whole time. Dallas, I have both here in the stables this week, so the plan at the moment is Anjou to try to qualify tomorrow, and then use Dallas on Saturday evening. That'll be her first bigger Grand Prix for a while. I kept her a little bit more as a second horse latter part of last year, and now I just felt that she needed to take a breather and sort of get a little bit of confidence back after some big courses last year. But then I do have Ginger Blue and Corlander and those guys. I'm hoping I can incorporate them, and a few of the older horses in the stable, a little bit like Darragh, I won't bring out just yet, but Faltic is back and Exit Remo. So they're all here, enjoying the sun.
Trying to keep up.
Little bit of paddock,
Which is good.
paddock time, but very, very spoiled at the moment, and it really enables me to give the horses the well-deserved rest that they need and produce them for the right time.
And Guy gives us some nice Paris memories back that you were front row seat on watching these guys in action.
Yeah, no, they were fantastic there for sure. And like you said, we have a lot of the top riders here, and they were in Paris, and those were very, very interesting courses there. And you see, not to that extreme, of course, but you always see very, very demanding courses here. So
we'll come on to that again in a minute. From your point of view, Darragh, as you said, you're going to be 0K this week, but also, I mean, let's throw into the mix. We've got again Christian Kuckuck's bringing Checker out. Yeah. He's got horses like Just Be Gentle here. That all sort of changes the game a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like you have Laura as well. You know, like you've Richie Vogel, who's on fire at the moment. You know, like there's so many strong riders and so many strong combinations, and you know, I think every week here is just unbelievably competitive. When you see that 4-star 2 weeks ago, and normally a 4-star is not, it was 6 5-star Grand Prix horses in the top 10. You know, I think the standard here right now is just incredible. You know, you've
King Edward and Henrik von Eckermann are also in the house. The King is in the house.
Yep. Exactly. You know, like it's the string of riders and horses and like the best combinations in the world. It's fantastic.
And Guy, I mean, you spend a large part of your time here as well. You've built some of the biggest shows around the world. It's also great for the audiences here to be able to see these riders close up.
I think it's fantastic, and like Ben said, and there as well, like we are getting more and more of the top European riders to come and jump here and stay here for the season. And I think for the end of the season, maybe some more are going to come. So for sure, for the audiences, they're going to look forward to the Saturday Night Lights for sure.
Well, we've got a few Americans to throw there in the mix. I mean, the likes of Kent Farrington, mate of yours as well. I mean, Kent doesn't give away a class easily.
No, those guys have been flying around a little bit to other competitions in January, but they're all here. They'll be back out. You have McLean, Laura, Kent. There's a strong field of Americans that don't make it easy for us. So it's just added that the Europeans have followed us over as well now. But as Darragh said, I think on any Grand Prix evenings here, you look down the list, there could be 20 different winners now. It's a very strong field from start to finish.
Let's take a look at who we've got in the line, because we've got 8 of the world's top 20 here this week from that point of view. An amazing lineup. We just saw Henrik von Eckermann there. We've got the world number 1 in the occasion. Ben, you're world number 3 now. Kent Farrington, world number 4. And the rankings, I think, are going to change again during this week. McLean Ward, number 6. McLean just on the sidelines at the moment with an injury. He said to me earlier he'll be back on week 7, so watch out. He'll be coming back for everyone. Let's take a look there. We look down Christian Kuckuck, world number 7. Richard Vogel, world number 9. Cian O'Connor, world number 14. Darragh, you're of course in there, world number 18 from that point of view. Shane Sweetnam in that group as well. So it's very, very strong. So looking forward to that. Let's get to some questions that have been sent to us by all of our audience out there. Darragh, I'm going to start with you to throw over to you. Don't worry. How do you know what a horse needs to do on the flat, and what do you do with different moves with them on the flat? What's your flat work sort of program like?
To be honest, we in our stable we're very, very conscious of the flat work of the horses, more so than even jumping them. And I think if you look at most of the top level riders, I think their balance, their lightness, they're able to lengthen and shorten. I think those are basic things that are very, very important, that they don't lean on their head, that they're able to carry themselves, and that you can go forward and shorten very easily.
And have you ever sort of gone down the route of having any dressage trainer support or anything like that?
We actually have a dressage trainer at the stable this week.
You did.
I'm very much into it. I really like the flat work. When I was younger, I spent time with Richard Davison in England. I've always had flat work lessons. I really believe in it, and I think it's great for any rider of any level. Like I have flat lessons from a dressage trainer at the moment. Like I don't think you're ever past learning.
Excellent. Ben, I'm going to sort of throw his question at you a little bit, but really the flat is the key to the jump, isn't it?
it's all about the flat work. Obviously we're lucky we have talented jumping horses, but if they're not ridden right on the flat work and produced and muscled in the right way, then the things that these guys build for us becomes very difficult. So that's what's great about, for me, this time of year here in Florida. We do get to spend a lot more time with the horses in between on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or we go home in between the classes. I'm sure it's the same for Darragh. Whereas in the European program, we kind of leave and those horses are kind of left behind for 4 to 5 days, and we all have an amazing team behind the scenes, but it's really hard to keep working on those things. So it's a real development time of year, especially for, well, all of the horses. And like Darragh said, it's all about being able to position the horse with the balance that you need around the course.
Darragh, second question to you, as a man also that's so good at getting on a horse and getting a connection quickly. What is your strategy for building trust and connection with a horse?
I think being patient, trying to figure out, you know, what they do like and what they don't like, avoiding what they don't like, and you know, trying to work with them always. I think, you know, my parents taught me a lot. My mum trained me a lot when I was a kid, and they were very good at figuring out horses and what was the best for horses. And so that's always what they taught me, was try and figure out what the horse wants and what it likes, and try and teach it to be really good. You know, don't try and do negative things to make it improve. Try and encourage it to improve.
Excellent. Okay, Ben, let's come to you. Nice, easy one. Goals for 2025. Not referring to your soccer skills, but your aims for the year.
Try to win as much as possible. I felt I had an amazing year last year. I think we all are tough on ourselves with wanting to improve and be better. Obviously the horse's health comes first, but I did feel last year that there were missed opportunities in Grand Prix with the caliber of horses that I have, and just not quite getting the job finished. So yeah, just trying to produce them right, and hopefully when we do all of the work behind the scenes and everything falls into place, that brings confidence, momentum, and then the results come from there. So it's kind of starting at the basics and working forward.
It's always fascinating talking to you guys in terms of the mindset, Guy, of watching these guys. In that they're always looking, going, I could have done that better. You know, you won an Olympic gold medal last year, and you go, I could have done that better.
That's the top sports, yeah. The top athletes, I think, in all sports, that's what make them rise to the top, and I think in all activity, like
and that's
yourself,
where the drive. Yeah.
Our team, of course, designers. I think we're always looking to do the best we can and to improve. What can we improve?
They get the drive. Ben, your second question. What are some of your pre-round or your round pre-routines? I'm going to say pre-round routines.
I like to keep things very simple, quite calm. I think the warm-up is very important for these horses. All of the work, the flat work, everything is done behind the scenes at home. When you get to the warm-up, it's about warming the horse up, not overstressing them. Obviously on a big competition, depends on what lines they built or what's coming early in the course. We adjust the warm-up slightly at the end, but just to get the horse warmed up, loose, using their body well, and also as us as riders, knowing that we have a plan, trusting that the system's in place, and keeping everything calm, because those nerves and everything flows through into the horse otherwise.
And Guy, I mean, from a designer's point of view, I think probably what people don't realise, that probably comes into your mindset of how you're setting out your course, doesn't it?
So we always try to start nice and inviting for the horses. I think the course designing has evolved in a way that the questions are more subtle than they used to be, and we try to do it progressively throughout the course. Of course, if you have a very high caliber of competitors, you kind of have to already start with the questions right there, but always thinking about how the horse are going to react in the beginning of the course and making them ready to go through the finish.
Nice roll into it. Let's a sort of question to both Ben and to Darragh actually, which is how do you handle pressure in high stakes competitions? Darragh, come to you first. How do you handle the pressure?
I think I try to just, like Ben said, try to just stay calm. You know, I really, you know, work on what's the most important thing for the horse in that moment, And like if I have a horse that gets a bit nervous and a bit tense, I get on a little bit earlier, let them walk for a bit longer, and then try to just calm myself and not think about, you know, not over stress about things. Like Ben said, I think the best thing about, you know, all of this pressure that we've all ever been put under is us realizing that simplicity is the best way, you know, and not overcomplicating things. Keep it simple, keep to your routine, don't change things. Usually things go the right way then.
Ben, is the key stick to the plan?
Normally stick to the plan. I mean, last week in the NetJets Grand Prix, there's a huge screen in the back, and everyone knows that you were in the jump off as well. Christian's horses, we all know each other's horses. It's fast, and we know where we can make some time. But I don't go in the ring. Obviously, we're trying to beat the guy that's winning or the girl that's winning, but you can't beat yourself. When you start doing some things that really push you out of the rhythm or out of the boundaries of what your horse is capable of, then it's normally going wrong. So yeah, keeping to the plan and not getting too carried away, and sticking to that all the way to the finish line.
Is your biggest pressure from you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, very lucky to have the support from my owners and my horses, and at the end of the day, I need to produce. That's how I am. So I'm not happy when I get in the car or driving home, or in Europe flying home. It's much further to go, and you realize you've made mistakes and you could have done better. So try to have a no stone unturned motto, and sometimes it's just not your day to win. Have to settle for second or third, or you can make mistakes but learn from them and come back and make sure you're better the next time.
Guy, let's throw some things to you. Our first question, I'm not sure is completely in your court, but it's how do you see a distance from 10 strides out?
I said I have to ask these guys, because me myself, up to my junior riding,
You're a vet as well.
I don't think I've ever saw a distance 10 stride from the turn. So that's a question for these guys, that I've seen them doing that even farther away.
Do you look for one, or are you off your eye?
No, I think actually if you try to look for a stride 10 strides away, you're going the wrong way about it, you know. I think if you ride through the turn with rhythm, you stay patient, let the jump come to you, then normally the distance shows up, and then you can, you know, put your leg on if you need to, or you can balance if you need to. I think if you're trying to look for it too far away, you get confused.
Guy, let's throw one to you on course designing. What's your approach for designing a challenging yet fair course? So we'll see whether you'll decide it's fair.
So the idea, you first, like you said, we look at the level of the competition. If it's a 3, 4, 5 star Grand Prix, if it's a -55, if it's a -60. Nowadays we have, if it's an MER, like the competition, that the minimum eligibility requirements to qualify for the big events like the Olympics and the World Championships. So we got all these, and then we look at the group of riders that we're going to have that week. And it varies a little bit. It goes the creativity part of it when we start. We have an idea of what we want to use, a line or a relation if you have the open water, something from the open water. And then you try to come up with a track that always a very fair and forward-moving track that can give the horses the best chances to get to the jumps. Then we play a little bit. We try, like there are a few things that you try to. We want the best horse-rider combination to win at a given day. So we try to balance the scope, the carefulness of the horse, the balance. We try to see the horse that you know, like the control that the rider has from the horse over the horse, and how the horse was trained to respond to that. So we put all that together. We in a way of like lines that they have to lengthen the stride of the horse, bring it back. We try to put everything together. And it depends. It's a creative process that we incorporate the technical aspect. So sometimes it comes easier, and sometimes it takes longer. But for sure, it's nice to have time to prepare for a big competition and tune in the details.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
You yourself, from a personal point of view, you said you rode as a junior. You were a qualified vet as well.
Yes.
Why course designing?
I think for me, I was always fascinated by those guys there in the middle of the ring doing the courses. I always loved the sport. My father was a gynecologist, and I was riding, and that was the logical choice was to go to vet school.
Okay, yes, I was making the leap there.
I was not. Yeah, I was a decent vet, but then I started doing small courses, and I saw, I think, a way that I could participate more intense, that I could be participating more on the sport.
Yeah.
And I think that's what attracts me.
And it grew.
But
and grew.
I do question myself why courses
no
every now
question.
and
You do
then.
a great job. But it's how you get to that stage, because everybody has a different route.
It is a fascinating. Our sport is fascinating on this way that these guys have to face a different challenge every time they go in the ring. Of course, we have the parameters and we have the guidelines, so they kind of know what's going to happen. But I think that it's a very unique part of our sport and makes it more interesting.
And I've talked about their nerves, but I know what the nerves of some of you guys are like when they start riding it.
Yeah, no,
You've done all the
you never.
preparation,
Yes, you do the best you can, and you try your best, but you're only really gonna know what's gonna happen once they start riding. I think that, especially because we have the horses involved, and you never know how the horses are gonna for sure react to something. So it is. I mean, the competitions can be a little stressful, but for me, as long as the horses jump well and they are safe, even if I had too many clears or too few clears, like there's another Grand Prix ahead, and I have to say, I think having been a vet and working with a vet, I think the stress from a course designer is very intense. But then it goes away quickly.
Yes.
It doesn't, like if you have a horse that is lame and you cannot find where it is lame, I think that stress is way bigger than the course designer, at least on my case.
And your case, you've been on all sides of it.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Well, we've got a big week coming up, like I said. Let's remind you what's coming up this week and what has been already, because we have our leaderboards of who's featured so far over the last few weeks as well. Of course, we have the Leading Lady Award from that point of view, presented by Martha Jolicoeur of Douglas Elliman. Natalie Dean is leading that right now. Emily Contra in second, and Jessica Mendoza in top three. They're getting points throughout this season for that. Leading international rider. Now that's quite a hard one to win at the moment. Niall Nassar is top of that on 276 points. Richard Fogel in third. 2 Grand Prix for him already so far this season. Luis Fernando Larrazabal has been very much ever present so far in our big classes this season as well. So he sits in the top few. That's after last week, and that's kindly presented by Michael and Wendy Smith. And let's take a look at what's coming up this week. Tomorrow takes us into the Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. What, $116,000 on that. Round 9, and the big qualifier into the Grand Prix as well. Now, points this week also spread across that and the speed in terms of their draw for Saturday Night Spectacular as well, so bear that in mind, because then on Friday we also bring you the speed class as well. And that is going to be lots of prize money on that for the Bainbridge Company supported classes too. We've also got the Hunters in action on Friday night too, and it is the Kirsten Barron $100,000 Neil Hirsch Boys and Girls Club Hunter team competition. That's going to be on Friday. And also then on to Saturday, of course, we are into the $385,000 Fidelity Investments Grand Prix as well. Dressage all underway as the season continues. They're looking forward to, we've got their 5-star coming up in a few weeks' time as well. And Sunday sees us at the $62,500 MS 150 Classic as well. We'll bring you all the coverage throughout. We're not done yet. We're also going to bring you a little series that's new here to the Winter Equestrian Festival in just a few moments' time as well, where we examine the origins of our riders, some starting out in the sport, some that have already been to the top as well. We're going to come up with that in a few moments' time. Let me tell you about that. But in the meantime, I'm going to say thank you to all of my guests for joining me here at Sunset, here in Wellington. Good luck to all of you. Guy, you're going to be playing a supporting role this week, as ever, and looking forward to what you bring us in the Rolex Grand Prix. Ben, good luck. Lots to keep you busy.
Thank you.
Yeah, going to be an exciting week. Looking forward to seeing Jane's horses out as well, the young ones there. Darragh, double it up. Bring home the win.
That'd be nice.
0K comes up with 385K at the end of the week.
That would work out well.
That would be lovely. Okay, well, thank you to them. But as I say, we've also got a new series to bring you as well. And every rider has an origin story too. The horse, a victory, passion for riding, exactly like these guys as well. And we're proud to feature some of the rising stars. And one of them is the winner of last year's equitation here. It's an amazing success in Taylor Corley. And to share her journey and love for the sport and her win here last year, moving up through the ranks in the U25, we're delighted to welcome you to the WEF Origin series presented by Origin Investments, and take a look at her journey so far.
Hi, I'm Taylor Corley, and this is my origin story. My parents are both very dedicated professional horseback riders, especially my mom, Molly Ash. She's gone all the way from the ponies to the 5-star events and the Olympic qualifiers, the WEG qualifiers, all of those amazing things. And I think definitely her work ethic has inspired me as a rider and as a person. And I'd say being able to live with her and have her being my mom is a super special thing that I'm grateful for every single day. My dad also is so amazing with the horses. He really puts the time in behind the scenes, and not everybody sees it, but I definitely notice it and I acknowledge it, and I'm so grateful to have those two amazing special people in my life and being so close-knit. I've known Stacia Madden my entire life. She has always been there in my corner throughout my entire career, even when she wasn't helping me yet when I was still in the pony. She's always been there, always been such a great supporter. And when I finally got the chance to work with her in the equitation, I think it opened so many doors for me that I didn't know were there yet. Stacia definitely over-prepares us so that when we get to the big shows or the even not so big shows, everything looks easy. So what we did at home is way scarier than what we're gonna do at the show. Something that always keeps me kind of in the loop with show jumping is definitely the horses. We're here for them, we're here with them, we're in a partnership with them, and we're always working towards our next goal with the horses we're on. I have a great group of horses right now. In the jumper ring, I have my horse, Corlencia BC. I have a super strong connection with her, and I love her so much. She is such a great partner. She always tells me if I'm doing something wrong or if I'm doing something right, and I think that's a super important thing to have in a partnership, and she's taught me so much. Oakheed Eclipse, I still have this year. Again, such a strong partner. He is super full of enthusiasm and personality. He always wants to go in the ring and win. He is very competitive. The 2024 WEF Equitation Championship, it was, I think, the cumulative of the year we had before. Going through WEF, we have a lot of classes that we use to prepare for that class itself. And I think kind of working towards that goal all throughout the circuit, focusing on the basics, kind of keeping a stable connection with your horse, a stable connection with your trainers and the people around you, and always kind of looking towards that goal. And I think going into the championship itself, I kept a clear mind and kind of was working on, very focused on the course that we had been given and trying to execute it the best I can. I'd say in the beginning I was definitely a little bit nervous because we do school by ourselves and walk the course and everything by ourselves without our trainers. So, but I have had a little bit of experience kind of being on my own. I was definitely feeling prepared, and I think at the end when they announced the results and I was very happy with my rounds, I was feeling very proud of myself that I kept a clear mind and stayed very consistent throughout the entire competition. I was definitely very happy with my first and second round, and after I got called back into the test, the final four, I'd say everybody had a little bit of a bobble in their test, so it was a little bit up in the air. I thought that I could stay consistent in the top 2 or 3, but I didn't know until they called the top 2, and I was very nervous. And when they announced that I had won, I was very happy, and I felt relief knowing that I had stayed consistent and stuck to my plan throughout the whole day.
Well, thanks to Origin Investments, and more to come in that series later on into our 2025 Winter Festival. And that brings us to a close here on WEF Weekly this week. A phenomenal week of competition is ahead. Something literally for everyone, whether it's 5-star Fidelity Grand Prix or the itty-bitty jumpers. We are going to be bringing it all to you. Thanks to USCF as well. He's also a supporting sponsor of our live stream throughout, and in part with support of the US Equestrian Federation and the USCF network. And to Dodd Technologies, presenting our live stream, our partner in engineering extraordinary experiences since 1983, and discover how they elevate sports, entertainment and corporate events at doddtechnologies.com. And we are all getting set for our fantastic lineup for this Fidelity Grand Prix this week. Thanks to Fidelity Investments, helping clients grow, preserve and manage their wealth. And learn more at fidelity.com/wealth, Fidelity Brokerage Services. That's going to be our big Saturday night feature. Like I say, we've got Hunters on Friday night as well. Tomorrow is the Adequan WEF Challenge Cup and everything else in between. Make sure you join us here in Wellington. We're into 5-star competition. Join us throughout the week.